I think it's kind of fitting that everyone's on their phone and we're talking about how to protect your social media accounts and websites from hackers. It's like apropos. So real quick, before we get started with our little quick discussion, just show you something cool and awesome that you can use around the conference. So how many of my attendees here are using LinkedIn or use LinkedIn? Does everyone in here know about the LinkedIn QR code trick? All right. Hey, Mike, come up here. We're going to do something. So if you have LinkedIn on your phone, go ahead and open up LinkedIn. And Mike, you've got LinkedIn, right? Mm-hmm. And I brought Mike up here because he's a Packers fan. I'm a Bears fan. And both our teams suck this year, so. But no hard feelings. His old quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, what was that? I own you. You don't remember when he said that to the Bears?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you remember. Don't act like. Which time? Yeah, I know, right? So anyway, open up LinkedIn. Once you're in LinkedIn, I need you to go to the very top of the screen where it says search or anywhere on the screen that says search. Do you see that? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Once you click on search and then click on search again, it's going to give you a QR code in the corner. You see it, Mike? Mm-hmm. Does everyone see the QR code? Go ahead and click on it. If you click on a QR code, you should have this. And Mike's got it, so that's good. So with LinkedIn, you can either show your QR code as you're walking around the conference and connecting with people, or LinkedIn also gives you the option to scan a QR code. So Mike and I, we're going to connect on LinkedIn, even though our teams hate each other. So all I have to do is hold my camera over his QR code, and then Mike's LinkedIn profile comes up. And then what I can do instantly to connect with them, you better accept this. You better accept this. Because we have 13 mutual connections. Did you know that? Not yet. Now, yeah. You said not yet. So anyway, I sent Mike the connection request. So that's a great way for you to walk around the conference and connect with people. You still want to do business cards, but the good thing about LinkedIn is that when you're connected with someone on LinkedIn, you're connected forever. I like that echo I did with that. That wasn't intentional. So anyway, let's get to our mission at hand. How do we protect our social media accounts and websites from hackers? Now, you have to understand the world of cybercrime that we live in. Criminals are constantly after your social media accounts because they want to use your social media accounts and your websites in order to trick people into phishing scams. That's the whole purpose. It's just to get a hold of your accounts because as real estate professionals, you have an option you're connected to. As you can see, Mike and I, we've got, how many mutual connections do we have? Yeah, 13 mutual connections. So if I got a hold of his account, then I can definitely use his influence to influence his followers in order to fall for a variety of phishing scams. And I also need you to understand with social media and website hacking that it is so prevalent that we all see the post online where someone says, oh my gosh, my account's been hacked. Show of hands, how many people have seen that? Crazy, isn't it? Ooh, almost fell off the stage. Yeah, I know, that would have been funny. I'd have been laying there hurt laughing. That's how I roll. So anyway, when it comes to social media, and cybercrime, you also have to understand cybercrime is so prevalent that if cybercrime were a country, it would be the fourth largest money earning country in the world. That's how much money they're making off cybercrime. So it's very important to know that you have to set up your own human firewall to keep your account safe from hackers. Cybercrime is a human problem, meaning that people are doing things to make their accounts easily accessible by not changing passwords. True story, we had a customer who was recently attacked by cyber criminals. They got a hold of his cable provider and used his account to pay $500 towards his cable bill, just to show him that they knew who he was. But when it comes to your accounts, you've got to change your passwords. You've got to make sure that you are setting up your own human firewall, because if your social media account or your website gets hacked, you were the cause of making that happen. So let's talk about our steps. And I want to make sure that I'm going to give you clear, actionable steps that you can use, other than the LinkedIn QR code, that you can use immediately to start to take care of your websites and your social media account. So let's talk about the hacked or duplicate account. Now, on social media, on any platform, if your account is hacked, that means that you no longer have access to it. Criminals don't play around and say, well, I'm just going to do some stuff to change your account. When they are hacking an account, they're serious about getting your information. So they'll just steal your account. You go to log into your favorite social media platform and you can't get access to it. You may have two-factor authentication. You may have different security protocols set up on your account, but you can't get in. And you've lost your account forever. And that's one of the most important things to understand about any of the social media platforms. There's no one's going to call and help you and get your account back. It's not going to happen. You've lost your account forever, and the only thing you can do is to start all over as far as your account's concerned. Now, if account is duplicated, it just means that a criminal couldn't get access to your social media account. And they're actually saying, well, we know they have a lot of followers. And how do you like the Grady twins from The Shining? You recognize them? It is creepy. That's the whole point of a creepy cloned account. It's you, but it ain't you. It's got your photo and all that information there. And criminals are using that to trick your followers into following a duplicated account. So when you see someone report and say, hey, Sandy or Jim, someone's I've got a friend request from you, and did you send this request? Does not mean your account has been hacked. It just means someone duplicated. And what your friends and what we should all do as a community is to make sure that if we see a bogus account, that we immediately report it to the proper social media channels. And that way they'll understand it's a bogus account and they'll take it down. So understand, just because someone duplicates your account doesn't mean someone hacked it. Now, another thing that you should do to keep your account safe is to find out what type of information about you is floating around on the dark web. Very important to know this, because this is how cyber criminals are getting access to your social media accounts. I want to introduce you, if you haven't heard it already or know of this website, a website called haveibeenpwned.com. And as I am up here yammering about protecting your social media accounts and websites, I want you to go to this website now to find out what information has been leaked. So the way the website works, once you go to haveibeenpwned.com, there's no question mark, it's just haveibeenpwned.com. Once you visit this website, it's going to ask you to put your email in. Put your email in, it'll let you know how many times your email has been involved in a data breach. This is how criminals are getting access to your information. So as I go on, I just want someone to interrupt and say, hey, I've been pwned this many times. 2, huh? Didn't even know about those, right? Because the bad thing about, let me go back to this. The bad thing about sites that are accounts that are hacked, the companies that have these data breaches, they very rarely report this information. So what you should do, if it's an account that you're using that email with, and you haven't changed the password, you need to change the password. And it doesn't matter how small. It can be from Under Armour's Map My Fitness or Map My Run. It could be your Uber account. Obviously, if it's your bank account, you want to change it. But this is how criminals are getting your information. It's all on the dark web. And they know more than you think, because there's people that are like, well, I'm going to play around with these criminals and see what happens. You don't want to play because they already know. Next, you want to stop using passwords and start using passphrases. Passphrases are 2 unrelated words that make up a secure password. You can use, there's some examples on the screen, but you can use things like stinky chicken, I hate Thanksgiving, I'm tired of hearing Mariah Carey. Not me, I'm just saying. But those are passphrases. Those are things that criminals are going to have a difficult time trying to guess. The problem with passwords is we're always using stuff that we talk about on social media, like Mima's address or her birth date, your spouse's birth date, kids' names and birth dates. We get lazy. Now, passphrases can be hard to create. So there's a website I want you to remember, other than Have I Been Pwned? The website is useapassphrase.com. If you go there, it will automatically create passphrases for you. So again, useapassphrase.com. So there was a real estate agent that reached out to me a few months ago and said, oh my God, I got my account verified. I got the blue check mark. I'm safe. And I was like, nope. Doesn't matter if your account's verified, because guess what? Verification on social media essentially means that you paid, now that you can do, to get your account with the blue check mark. Now, it does verify that you're a real person, because you have to show government ID in order to prove that you are who you say you are, and then they'll give you a blue check mark. Now, one that you should do immediately is LinkedIn. Run, do not walk, and get your LinkedIn account verified. They do it through, I forget the name. But anyway, it's safe and secure. Real quick, to help me remember, what is the process at the airport other than TSA? Clear. It's done through Clear. So go to LinkedIn, verify your account. Now, again, it just lets people know that you're not a fake account. But at the same time, if you're using a weak passwords, it just means that criminals have access to your social media verified account. So it's up to you to decide if you are going to get your account verified. But keep in mind, it's not going to keep you safe from cyber criminals out there. So that's up to you. Now, if you have a web hosting company, if you have your own real estate website, if you're using Squarespace or Wix or Shopify, any of those, you want to make sure that these companies have your back. Meaning that if something goes wrong, that you can immediately call for tech support if some cyber criminal accesses your website. Now, the challenge is with social media and websites, with site builder tools, that you can access them anywhere in the world. If I wanted to update my company website, I can just get on a browser and update it. Criminals can do the same things, and I think we don't think about this process when it comes to our websites and our social media pages. So it's very important that you take the time, contact your company if you are having web hosting, to find out what they're going to do if your website is commandeered. Because true story, one of our customers had Chinese porn on his website, and he didn't know it for months. And then he went to it one day, and it's got all this Chinese stuff, and it was crazy. And the company that he was working with did not want to remove the porn from the site. So that's what I mean, I've got your back, which works in two ways. Hey, I got your back, meaning we're backing you up. Or it could be like the picture, hey, we don't care about you. I don't care what happened to your website. So keep that in mind. Two-factor authentication is going to make your social media accounts and websites safe. The way it works, if someone tries to access your social media account or website with two-factor authentication, you're going to get an alert that says, hey, is this you in Dubai trying to log on to Facebook? Are you in Beijing trying to log on to LinkedIn? And if you're in fact there, you can say, okay, yeah, that's me, and then it'll allow the verification. But if it's not you, you can just say, well, heck, that's not me. I'm not going to allow my social media account to be hacked, so I'm going to enable two-factor or two-step authentication to ensure that my accounts are completely safe. And I would highly recommend that you don't only do it for your social media accounts, that you also set up two-factor or two-step authentication for all websites. I don't care what you're doing on the web. If you have a website that you go do financial services at, you can be using it for your CRM. You can be using it for like QuickBooks or whatever accounting package you're using in your real estate businesses. Make sure that you turn on two-factor authentication. I'm going to say it again. If there's anything that you do today that you take away from this 20-minute talk, turn on two-factor authentication to keep your account safe. And every service has two-factor authentication to make sure that you are not going to be a victim of a hack. Because what happens a lot of times is when your social media accounts are commandeered, when your websites are taken over, it's because criminals found your password on the dark web and they logged into your stuff. True story. Does anyone remember the MGM hack this summer? So the process that the criminals used in order to find the weakest human at the MGM Grand is that they went onto the dark web and they looked at employee credentials. Now, as real estate professionals, you ought to know that there is a ton of information about you on the web. Brokerages you may have worked at, what you're currently doing now, what your mobile number is. They know all of that. So it's easy for them to figure out what your password would be. It's easy for them to get access to your accounts. Now, there's one tip, and then we're going to wrap things up, that I hate to throw this out here, but folks, you're going to have to do it. And that is quit using your mobile number as your main real estate number. You're ready to throw vegetables and fruit up here, right? Because you're like, that's all I use. But again, it's another way that criminals can get access to your stuff. And you want to use something like WhatsApp as your public number that you give to your buyers and sellers, or you can use Google Voice as your public number. In this day and age with all the cybercrime, your mobile number needs to only go out to family and friends. Now, if you're willing to pay for a number, you can use services like RingCentral and Vonage as your number, because criminals do not want to duplicate or use cloud-based services like Vonage, RingCentral, WhatsApp, or Google Voice. So keep that in mind. So that's me, Burton Kelso, the technology expert. Love technology. I've read all the manuals and I'm serious about technology. So if you want to follow me or if you've got any questions, I'll hang around for a little bit. But you can also check me out at burton@burtonkelso.com. And yes, that signal up there or the icon up on the screen is true. I'm even on Pinterest. So keep that in mind. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Before you go, be sure to go into the NAR NXT app and scan the QR code to complete the evaluation for today's session. Hopefully you give me brownie notes, and I will let you know that at 3 o'clock, I'm talking about how you can create your 30-day social media calendar for all of your social media accounts. So thank you very much, folks. I enjoyed presenting, and I hope you have some takeaways as far as making sure your social media accounts are safe. Thank you.